singing / rapping there. I don't know what I'm doing, but welcome everyone. I hope that you're having a great day so far. I got the boys with us, Nug, Jimmy Korderas, Anthony Corelli. What's up, everyone?
We're good, having a good time here. Don't worry about singing. If you burst out in song, that's all cool. But if I may, really quickly, today is the birthday of the world's strongest Hall of Famer, Mark Henry. So I'd like to wish Mark Henry a very happy birthday. And I would get you a frying pan for your birthday, if anybody knows that story. But never mind. But man, what a good dude. Miss that guy.
I believe it's also the anniversary of the passing of Dusty Rhodes as well. I mean,
Yes.
super touched up the careers and lives and hearts of so many people, and I see a little bit of an outpouring towards him today.
And also, today happens to be the greatest live chat ever.
Yes.
Nug, you cracked me up. Wait, Nug, do you have your mic where you can give us your special voice? Yes.
This is the greatest live chat ever. ASMR style.
Yes, sir.
Sir. What about this mug?
That's the greatest mug ever, Jimmy.
Okay, thank you.
Nug, I literally, when I tell you, I could listen to you for 30 minutes straight talk like that. I swear, what did I say last time about ketchup chips for all I know?
I'll just read the phone book.
Yeah, I would listen.
No, when you said the other day, the quiet storm.
Quiet storm.
I mean, that resonated with an old
So there's got to be a wrestler with the quiet storm gimmick out there somewhere, right?
Sure.
I just found out about an indie wrestler in the States who has an Italian pizza guy gimmick, and he spins dough on the way to the ring.
No way.
Yeah, I'm in heaven. I've seen a couple of tweets, and he answers them all in like phonetic. I was like, "What are you going to do to your opponent?" He's like, "I'm gonna tell you what I'm going to do," and it's all phonetically spelled out like that. It's
tremendous.
I gotta look it up again. It's so good.
While we give time for people to join, Jimmy, that was an Aftermath TV mug that I saw you had, right? Did I see that correctly?
Yes, you did. That was made by TV Mom. She made that specifically for me.
I love that.
And
very nice.
So she has taken to the Mick Foley. What is it?
Shameless self-promotion.
That's exactly it. There you go. And I don't mind it. I will do it. I will do T-shirts. I will do everything. I don't care.
Oh, speaking of T-shirts, there's Iron Mike Sharp for you guys today.
Hey, Canada's greatest athlete.
That's right. Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want an Aftermath TV mug. We need to maybe when we're all back in the studio get ourselves a mug. That'd be cool.
Those big,
everybody wants an Aftermath TV
the
mug.
chill mugs, the big the new thermal keep your cold drink in them for the summer.
Yeah, seriously. Tell TV Mom I say hello.
By the way, Caroline says hello. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. Okay, guys, obviously WWE Backlash is coming up. I have the card pulled up here. Do we want to go through each match and maybe give, our thoughts on it?
Sure.
Let's start.
But before, can I just mention, before we do that, tonight Absolutely. On SmackDown, we're getting the finals of the IC Championship Tournament, which should be off the charts with AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I'm extremely looking forward to that match.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Oh, one little thing before we start. Nikki Bella is having a boy. And, and I don't think Brianna and Daniel Bryan announced theirs. I think they were kind of traditional people. They're going to wait.
They did announce it. They're having a baby.
They're having a vegan.
Yeah, but this is their brand. Look, it's called Dad Squad.
Sorry,
Birdie B. That's the.
That's awesome.
So
nice.
I'm sporting the Dad Squad shirt today.
Anthony, did you find out if you guys were having a boy or a girl?
No, I found out when he was born.
Nice. That's awesome. That's
it's surprises.
You like your surprise?
You don't get too many surprises these days.
No.
Hey, as long as it's a baby.
Healthy, and that's it.
All right, since this is the greatest stream ever, let's talk about the greatest wrestling match ever between Edge and Randy Orton. I feel like let's start big. I think a lot of people are excited about this one. We're excited to see where it goes. Obviously, last man standing match at WrestleMania 36. A lot of people loved it. The only complaint that at least I saw online was that people thought it was too long. But I think everyone's going to have an opinion about that, whether they liked it, whether they didn't. But something you can't take away between these two superstars is that they're amazing storytellers and incredible wrestlers. So what do you guys think about this match and what can we expect?
Like I said earlier this week, I am looking forward to this match. I think people, a lot of fans are getting hung up with the promotion of this match and labeling it the greatest wrestling match ever. And like I said, if you can forget that, put that aside, don't use that as a crutch to say, okay, this is going to be great. I want to see what the greatest match looks. Just sit back, relax, let them do their thing. Let them tell. These guys are pros.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that they're going to put on a great performance. Whether it's the greatest ever, you can judge that afterwards. But don't let that be the thing you're thinking about while you're watching the match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen they're kind of depressurizing the situation by making light of it, and then it's almost becoming a parody, like the greatest match ever. You know, let's see what they have in store. But I wonder if it was supposed to be a parody from the beginning, like the greatest wrestling match in history. Obviously, it's not going to be. It's a ridiculous thing to say. It's a ridiculous claim, and if they're serious about it, then they're going to be disappointing some people. But it's just not possible to be the greatest wrestling match in history.
I've really been enjoying Edge's tweets because he's been like, I just had the best conversation with my 4-year-old daughter ever. I just had the greatest coffee for breakfast ever. And I think the pressure of the promotion has put them over it. They're like, we're over it. We're just going to have a wrestling match. We'll see what happens. It should be pretty good. I still hope one of them rolls the other one up and pins them in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
That would be the best.
Randy's known for like really kind of slow, borderline boring matches. So, I mean, what makes the best match ever? I mean, is it the technical side? Is it the crowd involvement? Is it the efficiency and your rate of work? I mean, what kind of best match ever?
It's funny you said that, because a lot of people have been asking that question all week long. What are your top 3 greatest wrestling matches ever? And people like obviously go back to like the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels stuff. And to me, the greatest wrestling match ever is not necessarily the greatest technical match ever. It's the match that gets the audience most invested, because you can make an argument for WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hogan. You know what? Close your eyes and listen to the match, and listen to that crowd. If you're not watching that match, you're thinking to yourself, this is the greatest match ever. Listen to everybody. Yeah. So is it what you're seeing? Is it what you're hearing? No, it's a combination of both, getting invested. And again, greatest ever, subjective.
Absolutely. Like, for my money, Bundy Hogan WrestleMania 2 in the Big Blue Cage is one of the greatest wrestling matches ever, but that's me. It's very subjective. Nobody else likes that match like I do.
Underrated.
How funny would it be if Last Man Standing at WrestleMania 36, I don't know, it was a long time, and then Nug, like you said, here at Backlash, it's like 10 seconds. I actually would love that. To me, that would be like my win.
That would be perfect. All this hype, all this lead up, and then like it's over in 30 seconds. It'd be great.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here's a good question in the YouTube chat. Will Drew retain the title, or will Bobby Lashley win? And will Brock return and attack my predictions?
Ooh. Wow.
I wouldn't mind. Don't get me wrong. I think Drew's been great. If this ends up being the only match they have, I would like to see Bobby Lashley fight Drew again. I think something can happen and they can extend this. But I would really like to see Bobby fight Brock Lesnar.
Ooh, that is.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. You talk about guys that could challenge a Brock Lesnar. Obviously, Drew's big enough to stand up to him, but you've got 2 guys like Bobby Lashley and AC. You're more into the mixed martial arts and the combat sports world than I am. But seeing these 2 guys match up against each other in the ring in a sports entertainment environment could be very interesting. That said, as far as the match Sunday with Drew and Bobby, see, that's a tough call, because without an audience there, we've been talking about this before, I think the impact of Drew McIntyre finally achieving that dream of being the chosen one and becoming WWE champion, it's missing something. And it's that audience, feedback and stuff like that. It would have had more of an impact if there was an audience there. That said, I maybe Bobby pulls one out this weekend, and
might as well. It'll be the same reaction if there's an audience,
right? So, wow, hey, oh, da, 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 da.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
Can we all agree on one thing, that we don't need any more backstage Lana interviews? And again, this to me is nothing against Lana as a person or a WWE superstar. It's just like, end the
You know,
When
story.
she came on
Drew
TV last
McIntyre.
and said, "I've got to focus on Lana," I almost yelled at the TV. Or, and hear me out, no Lana at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew, I mean, Bobby versus Brock is down the road, inevitable. I think there's going to be a crash course eventually. Bobby called out Brock. I think he even called him out in MMA. He wanted to fight Brock. I guess it bothers him that Brock is considered the toughest guy or whatever in the thing, and he thinks he is. So, I mean, it'd be better if they met in an MMA environment first, but I think there'd be a very MMA oriented type match if they ever do meet. But that being said, you know, my boy Drew would have to lose for that to become a reality for the championship. And I kind of want Drew to win until there's audience members again. I
Yeah.
want him to bridge the gap, you know?
Is it too soon for Drew to lose his title? Like, I understand the excitement around Bobby Lashley, but like, Drew just got it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want him to lose it just yet.
It depends. If they went back and forth a couple times, that would be okay. If they're just really equal rivals and all that. Because with all this momentum lately with Bobby Lashley, if he loses too, it's bad. Like, this is a nobody really can lose situation. It's really their perceived stock is going to plummet.
Maybe you can do like a best of 7 series or something like that, because time is what they have a lot of right now. So
yeah, and they're going to wrestle 7 times anyway. You might as well make it a best of 7.
Yeah.
And am I bananas in thinking like Lashley had a run before in WWE and then went away and had a good run somewhere else and has come back? But I think for me and a few people I know that have been fans for a long time, that this is one of the first times we've cared a lot about what Bobby Lashley's doing. He's been there and he's been the ECW champion. He's had that big match with the haircut where Vince got his head shaved at Mania. But still, it's just been, it's Bobby Lashley. But now Bobby Lashley with like this motivated Bobby with MVP doing the talking is so good and is a more than credible threat, more credible than he's ever been before. Dare I say incredible. It's just, it might be his time. And it would stink because Drew sort of just got that championship and hasn't defended it a ton. But I could see Bobby winning it.
And, not to cut you off, AC, but and thinking forward to what Nug said, one of the big things, a big plus for Bobby, is being associated with MVP right now. And can you see Bobby Lashley with MVP facing Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman? Can you imagine the back and forth between MVP and Heyman and just having those two big beasts staring off at each other?
That'd be pretty fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, AC.
No, when it comes to Drew losing, you know, sometimes it just bees like that.
Mm-hmm.
We touched upon this a little bit, but let's answer Jack's question on Facebook. If Lashley wins, can you see him feuding with Brock when he comes back? Which, Nug, go ahead, because you're excited about this.
That's a match I want to see. I don't get me wrong, Brock should have a shot at Drew to get his title back, I guess. But I've seen Brock and Drew. I've seen Brock and Drew at the Rumble, and I've seen them at Mania. I like seeing new matchups, and I want to see Bobby and Brock for sure.
I'll just simply say yes, yes, yes.
I think they got to make us wait for that one, though. I think I could see Bobby and Brock at a WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Don't rush. Why is everybody in such a rush? Don't. No offense, Jack. Plenty of time for this. Let's build to it. Storytelling.
Jimmy, it's perfect you just did the yes chant, because there's another good question. Thoughts on Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles being tonight instead of Sunday?
Interesting. I think it's a perfect platform for it because, yes, you can make the argument that putting it on pay-per-view will draw attention and draw eyes to the pay-per-view, but this match appeals to a very deep, hardcore audience, and putting it on national television for a larger audience to see may in some way draw people in to watch the pay-per-view on Sunday. It's going to attract more eyes. So, you can make an argument for saving this for pay-per-view and saving this match for pay-per-view, but sometimes putting it on television is a good move too, because now you're attracting more eyes and you'll get people invested.
I think they call that a lost leader in marketing. You put a really something that's on sale. You put it in your flyer to get people in and buy the rest of the stuff that they need while they're there. And I think it's one of those things. You give people a fantastic, crazy match that they're going, wow, and they're going to be leaving on such a high after watching SmackDown that there's a good chance they're going to tune in on Sunday to try and get that feeling, duplicate that feeling that AJ and Bryan gave them.
And there's no way in the world that there can't that it couldn't happen, that there's no finish tonight and that the actual match finishes a rematch on Sunday. It's a very I hate to say that it's a very WWE thing to advertise the finals of a tournament, to have the tournament finals go screwy, and then to have the match the next night on on Sunday at the big event.
As they say somewhere, aha.
Hello to everyone on the chat. You guys are saying hi. We see you.
Hello.
We appreciate you. Thank you for asking all your questions. Keep them coming because we got a lot to talk about in terms of Backlash. So next up on the list for the Universal Championship, Braun Strowman versus The Miz and Morrison. AC, I know that The Miz is your favorite WWE superstar. So what are your thoughts?
Well, The Miz, the first thing he should do is hold his wife in front of him like a shield, and then try and throw rocks from the back. This is, again, the way they designed this. Like, Miz and Morrison are going to look pretty bad. Those are like big-time players to be in a handicap match. Usually handicap matches are like jobbers. But if they win, what do they win? There's two guys beating up one guy. I mean, it's kind of a lose-lose situation for Miz and Morrison.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I haven't been from the beginning, and I was waiting for them to tell a story and a build-up leading up to this match that would get me interested. And so far, they've got one more night tonight to try and do that. But as of right now, this match has not got me invested.
Now, Jimmy, sorry, just quickly. I remember maybe a few weeks ago, one of your fails was that you wanted more from the Miz and Morrison. Do you still feel that way now, and why?
What I would like is, look, I like them as a tag team, Miz and Morrison. I think they're great as a tag team. And individually, they're also great. John Morrison could do some incredible stuff in the ring. Miz can be the antagonizing villain that we all dislike and want to see him get his, what handed to him. So I would rather see them go their separate ways and do their own thing as opposed to being a team, not winning the tag team titles, not, trying to do 2-on-1 matches with Braun and getting their, what's handed to him there as well. But there's so much potential there that they are, let's say, missing the boat on.
Well, I can see them not succeeding in this match. I don't know if anybody else has made that prediction. I can see them not succeeding and then being very angry at each other because there was a chance for them both to become champions at the same time or not. And then that splitting the team up, and we might finally get a fight between the two of them, and then they can go their separate ways. But all I see in their future is a mountain of pain from Braun Strowman.
I think it'd be great for them to separate.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, he just wants that to happen. He wants the Miz to be miserable.
No, I think Morrison's capable of some really cool matches, like one-on-one, like Ricochet versus Morrison and AJ versus Morrison. I mean, the list goes on. Anyone that has that, Kofi, it's incredible. But he's just being, tied down with this anchor known as the Miz.
Can you guys see Maurice interfering to help the Miz win? That's another question from the chat.
Then it's 3-on-1?
No, I don't think. I think Maurice is pretty much.
I think she's staying at home.
Yeah, we already have Alana. We don't need.
Yeah, we don't need more.
But check her out online. Maurice had a brunette wig, I believe, on last week and suited her very nicely. She's naturally a brunette. Don't tell anybody.
Hey, keep it, brother.
Nug, there's a question for you in our private guest chat. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
That surfaced? It says, Nug, what's the rarest Funko Pop you got back there?
Oh boy, the rarest. I mean, the clear John Cena is still my favorite because you can't see him.
That's the best.
That makes me laugh a lot.
It's clear?
It's a see-through, like it looks like an empty box, but he's in there. He's a see-through, you can't see John Cena,
Oh my God.
which is very funny. I've got a WCW Sting, like a fluorescent green Sting and Luger that came in a 2-pack, and I've got a New Day 3-pack, and I got an IRS DiBiase 2-pack up there somewhere. But I think one of my favorites, I don't know if it's rare or not, but there's a Vince McMahon, and there's a Vince McMahon in a pink jacket and one in a blue. I'm still looking for the pink, but I have the blue one up here somewhere.
Oh,
Guys,
do you have the Vince McMahon with 2 torn quads?
No, although
Jimmy.
I've thought about breaking the legs on it.
Okay, first of all, everyone who's watching, if you have any, awesome collectibles like that, let us know in the comments. Let us know right now so we can talk about it. And Jimmy, can you tell us that story?
Oh my goodness!
This is one of my favorite Jimmy Corderas stories.
It's
and guys,
so
sit
good.
down, relax, grab some popcorn because this is a good one.
Okay, I'm going to try to condense it a little bit because, and we're going to pull the curtain back a little bit here. So it is the 2005 Royal Rumble, and there's 3 participants left in the ring. It's Batista, John Cena, and Edge. Edge gets eliminated, leaving Batista and John Cena in the ring. Now, but they get to the finish of the match, and as they're both going over the top rope, Batista, Dave is supposed to hook the top rope. John hits the floor. Batista's your winner, going to WrestleMania to face. Long story short, he went to hook the top rope, didn't get the top rope. They both landed, and even if you tried to plan this, they couldn't have landed as better simultaneously. It was like they literally landed at the same time. And all the referees looked at each other and went, huh? So the Raw referee went right over and raised Batista's hand. And I'm like, but they landed at the same time. How are we going to get, run in, raise John Cena's hand. So we're doing the back and forth. And in our earpieces, we can hear them in the back saying, find the general managers, Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long. So they want the general managers to come out and argue and blah, blah, blah. Those guys departed early. Don't want to throw them under the bus, but they figured they'd beat the traffic.
Too late.
So here comes power walking Vince. If anybody's seen Vince power walk, this was Vince on a different level power walking. He gets to the ring, he slides under the bottom rope, he stands up, and then he falls backwards. And we all went, what happened? And he goes, come here, damn it. And so he gives us the instructions. Hey, the match is going to continue. We go to the thing. But we didn't realize at the time that when he went to stand up, he had torn both his quads. Not one, both. So, watching him roll out of the ring, I wanted to help. We all wanted to help, but Vince is Vince. So Vince struggled and walked to the back with 2 torn quads without any help. And we still don't know how he did it to this day. And
will and determination.
Well, he wasn't.
Stubbornness.
He wasn't going to sell for that crowd, brother.
Guys, think about this. When you have like a Charlie horse in your quad or your quad's just pulled, it's painful in your quad or your hamstring. Yeah. And this guy tore both of his quads and he walked out like a champ.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Don't show pain. Don't let him know you're hurting. Never let him see you sweat. Never let him see you sneeze.
That's like those people on PCP that jump out of buildings and break their legs and get up and keep running.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! It's like when he was sitting there, you couldn't see the pain on his face. He wouldn't let you see it. There
was no pain.
What are you talking about?
He looked angry. But then, and I keep bugging Chad Patton to this day. I said, "You let the boss fall down. You were the closest one to him."
You gotta catch him, man. That's expensive, man.
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy, no pun intended, but did you find out the aftermath? After that, like, did you find out how Vince was feeling? Like what happened? Anything? Like, what was his recovery like? Was he on crutches? Tell us.
Afterwards, I mean, because Larry Heck was one of the writing. We were, him, Chimmel, and I. So we found out afterwards. It was like he tore his quads, and we're like, "Shut up! How the hell did he walk back with 2 torn quads?" And then, long story short, he went in. He got the surgery done. He showed up at TVs every week with 2. With crutches and these 2 leg braces and everything.
I mean, were they complete tears? There's 4 muscles in the quad. Was it a
I have.
tendon tear? Yeah.
You're going to have
Dr.
to.
Korderas, tell us.
Yeah, you're going to have to refer to the medical records there, which are sealed. I think those are sealed in Vince's private vault. But man, still to this day, I don't care what anybody says. Vince is one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen.
Oh
We
yeah,
need
so
to-
I saw a picture of him. This is after he had his knees or quads fixed, and he's squatting 700 pounds, and he's like in his 60s, if not
At the time, yeah.
at the time. Yeah, after double quad surgery. Like
I think-
Why?
I think my quads would tear if I just tried squatting
God, that's
700
so heavy.
pounds.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. Okay, before we move on to listen, Jimmy, anytime you want to share a story, like those to me are my favorite. I could hear them all day. Thank you so much for sharing. Before we move on to the Raw Women's Championship match at Backlash, there's a question here from Mike that I actually really like, and it's for AC. Who's the better technical wrestler, Edge or Randy? And I actually really want to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, Edge is a professional wrestler. You know, Edge started training. He doesn't have any pedigree in freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling. Randy, believe it or not, was the state champ in Missouri in amateur wrestling as I believe it was around like 8th or 9th grade that he wrestled back then. So I'm gonna have to give it to Randy, the technical side. And actually, there's a match. Anyway, it's with somebody who passed away, and it's an incredible technical wrestling match. And it's anyway he can go when it comes to chain wrestling and just improving, freestyle wrestling and everything. So he has the nod, but Edge is tougher.
I
He
will
has
say,
grit.
yes, yeah, the greatest grit.
Ever.
But I will say that Edge, don't sell Edge short. Edge, as someone who, like you said, AC doesn't have the pedigree. I put Randy Orton in the same category as Owen Hart, someone who comes from a wrestling family, but is just a complete natural. It just came to him naturally. Everything looks so effortless for him. I mean, not that he doesn't work at it. It just feels so natural for him, and it's amazing.
He's still he's the holder of one of the sweetest drop kicks in the business to this day.
He could kick a dime out of midair with that drop kick, man. Randy Orton's drop kick it's a pinpoint. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nug, your one-liners are my favorite.
Oh boy, I got to work on them.
Randy's had the same boots though. He has wait a second. They're not shark. Is it shark skin or
I would imagine snake
Stingrays?
skin.
Oh
I
gosh,
think it's a
don't tell me
stingray.
this.
It's a stingray boot, and it lasts forever.
Faux stingray. Faux stingray.
It's not funny, Anthony.
But he ate the animal, so it wasn't good. It wasn't just made for the boots.
Moving on. Okay, Raw Women's Championship. Here's a great question from Roberto. How do you guys feel about Nia Jax versus Asuka?
It's an interesting matchup. Obviously, you have Nia Jax, who's obviously a larger athlete and probably more physically dominating, but never sell Asuka short. She can hang with anybody, and this is going to be. I think this is going to be surprise a lot of people. Definitely.
Yeah, this is a classic story about big, strong versus super technical, and it's going to be wonderful to watch it unfold.
I'm excited because it seems that Asuka, based on what happened on Monday, looks like she might be a little compromised. She's had a real rough time with Charlotte there on Monday, and then Nia attacked at the end, and physically she's been through the ringer. Mentally, she can't beat Charlotte, and Nia just ensured that she still can't beat Charlotte. Is that in the back of Asuka's head while she's going into this match with Nia Jax? I think she's ripe for the picking for Nia to take this title.
I was reading online and people said that if there's a triple threat, if this ends up being a triple threat match, they're going to riot. So what do you guys think? Do you think Charlotte Flair could enter this match and it becomes some type of triple threat?
I hope not.
I know, right?
Exactly.
They should riot because then they can have larger get-togethers.
Oh, AC.
Here we go again.
I know, right?
I feel like I should be doing the Ed McMahon, in the background.
We've never been fans though of triple threat matches. Really,
No.
we're a little more traditional.
The Eagles don't play, the Jets and the Buffalo Bills run in. That's what Rip
Could you
Rogers used to
imagine?
say.
Yeah, I don't.
I would watch that game though.
I would too.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be history. That would be history in the making.
Right up there with leaving the injured players on the field. I would watch 3 teams go at it at the same time.
To me, it's one of those things where if it happened less frequently and it was more rare and it felt more special, then okay. But it seems to happen way too often.
I agree. Do we want to move on to the women's tag team match?
Sure.
Bayley and Sasha, who we spoke about on the stream a couple days ago, we'll get into it on the live stream, versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus my favorite, the Iconics.
There you go. We talked about triple threat in a tag team situation.
It's chaotic.
It can get very chaotic, but then again, there is an opportunity here for the Iconics, who I think are very entertaining and very engaging, to actually come to the forefront and emerge here with the championship. And
it's a perfect opportunity. It's almost like they did a couple years ago at WrestleMania. So many teams in the match, and you don't even have to be pinned to lose those titles. And they've done it before. They can do it again. 100% Iconics all the way.
Yeah, with this type of randomness and chaos, the better team is really it's an important asset to have better chemistry. And I think the Iconics, because they showed up as a tag team, everyone else just kind of got together, so they may have the chemistry advantage.
They're so fun to watch.
Oh.
What was it, on Monday Night Raw when they came out? AC talked a little bit about this earlier in the week, and we can get into it now. Sasha and Bayley were, on the mic. It wasn't convincing. It really didn't do anything. And then you got Asuka, who was hilarious, who's in the ring. Charlotte Flair, who's just a stud on the mic, literally in everything she does. And then the Iconics are just so funny, and they're able to come across as very genuine in like their sarcasm and just how like low-key catty they are almost. I can't get enough of them. Obviously, I think that they do a stellar job in the ring too. I would love for them to come out with the title, and that's also not taking anything away from Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, because I love them as well. But the Iconics the Iconics for me are like,
and
so
Peyton
fun.
Royce, she married a Canadian.
She sure did.
She did. So on Canadian by marriage.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I hope they win too then.
There you go.
AC, talk a little bit about your thoughts on Sasha and Bayley. Maybe in the Monday Night Raw segment.
Yeah, individually, they're fantastic. And they've had great rivalries. I guess they're really great friends, and they're constantly requesting to be together. I just don't know why they come in a 2-pack. Why can't they just be on their own, And often when two people have really good chemistry, like the Iconics, if they were separated and just one of them came to the ring, something would be missing. But with Sasha and Bayley, they need to be separated because they don't have synergy. When they come to the ring together and try and feed off each other, it gets worse.
Well, all we want is for them to be not involved in a story together. We want them to have separate stories. I don't care if they're friends and have separate stories, or if they're enemies and have separate stories, because I don't care about them. I want them apart.
No, I agree. And with Bayley, it's almost similar to the Seth Rollins situation, where Seth Rollins is finding his oats as this Monday Night Messiah. I thought Bayley was starting to get into a groove as the annoying champion, and I think Sasha takes away from that.
Yes.
So I agree with you guys on that point, that they, like Miz and Morrison, let's separate.
And that's a perfect way to incorporate this question from Bill on YouTube. Is this where Bayley and Banks split?
Oh, please. Please.
But they've split how many times already?
But I mean, it's all been, when's one going to turn on the other? There's just a chance for them to stay evil friends and have separate stories going on.
Or have a mutually agreeable breakup as friends.
Exactly. We got to go our separate ways because I got business to take care of over here that doesn't involve you.
Hey, they could just play the old Dave Mason song, right? So let's leave it alone.
Okay, before we move on to the U.S., Jimmy, you can sing for us all day, but I can't sing, so I can't join in. I won't.
I remember that. Yeah, you can't.
I'm tone deaf.
Oh wow!
You sing in the
literally-
key of R flat. It's
I
fine.
just I try singing something and everyone's like, "What are you singing?" And I'm
Wait,
like,
are
"Do
you
not
actually
hear it?"
tone deaf? Is that a
I
real
really
thing?
can't. Like one of these days, maybe I'll prep a little musical, show for you guys, and I'll
Is it
try
tone deaf?
singing.
It's like
Aftermath karaoke.
Can
is
you?
it like colorblind?
Or
Only if you
is that
play your recorder at the
is
same
that
Oh,
time,
yes.
AC.
Where is it? To
how
here?
is it? How's it?
Play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I'll sing.
I
Oh,
don't
Oh,
think it's
boy.
do you have it?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Come on, man.
I
Next
can
time.
get it.
Next time. Before we move on to the U.S. Championship, here's a great question for Jimmy from Peter. What's the craziest women's match you were ever a part of?
Oh my goodness.
This is a great question.
Who was it? Was uh, it was Mae Young and Moolah versus I want to say Dawn Marie, and I can't remember who the other. Anything involving Mae Young and Moolah, who were, let's just say, later on in their careers, and still probably two of the toughest ladies ever to step foot in the ring, and they were wearing schoolgirl outfits, and it was just nuts. It
Yeah, I think Moolah gave birth in a match one time.
I don't. I'm not. I'm not even going to go there. Other than that, I think probably the craziest women's match involved actually a male was when China became co-intercontinental champion with Chris Jericho. Where I told a story before about them leaving the title at the venue and me carrying the Intercontinental Championship. But
Yeah.
China as Intercontinental Champion, imagine that.
Yeah, historic.
What made China special?
200 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
She just stood out. You know, she was associated with Triple H and DX, and she just stood out from the rest of the girls.
Yeah, she was jacked and humongous, and yeah.
See, she was different. She looked, you know what I mean? You have to have a unique look sometimes, and she was definitely unique.
If everyone's jacked, then you be skinny. If everyone's skinny, then you be fat. Whatever it is, you got to absolutely stand out if you want to make it in this business. And at the time, it was like models, a lot of like Stacy Keeblers and stuff. Not a lot of muscle mass in the upper body. Tori Wilson had some muscle, but a lot of the girls, yeah, were kind of thin. All of a sudden, this man-sized muscles. She's obviously a woman, but I mean, her arms and shoulders and traps and everything was. Guys would love to have a body like China.
Yeah, she had a better body than some of the dudes at the time.
Yeah.
All right, U.S. Championship. I believe, Nug, this was the match that you were looking forward to the most between Apollo Snooze, who no longer is called that in your eyes. It's now Apollo Crews, and Andrade. So you can take this one away.
Apollo's got new music. Apollo's got a new attitude from Patti LaBelle. Apollo's got the U.S. Championship and has had some fantastic matches in the last couple of months and big wins over Andrade. So this is either Andrade finally gets his title back from Apollo and beats Apollo for the first time in months, or Apollo cements the fact that he's here to stay as U.S. champion. And I really hope that it's the latter. Apollo has been so good on the microphone for the first time ever for me. Apollo's been killing it in the ring, and he deserves to be where he is. I want to see him cement that legacy as a great U.S. champion, and I really want to see him continue to fly up the ladder. I want to see him get to that heavyweight championship.
No, that's
for him
interesting.
because Andrade.
No, go ahead, EC.
Andrade has that traditional upbringing in the wrestling business. He wrestled in Mexico for a long time. He already showed up quite polished. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Apollo Crews is a product of the Performance Center and kind of doesn't have that background, but they saw a lot of potential in him. His physical attributes are incredible. His strength and speed and coordination. And, he has that nice baby face look to him. So I think it's going to be a good matchup in terms of bringing the most out of Apollo Crews.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting because I think there's opportunities here with Apollo Crews, not just the fact that he's going to probably have a really good match with Andrade here, but there's we talked about Bobby Lashley and his association with MVP. I think there's an opportunity here where MVP can maybe, for lack of a better term, expand the stable and bring Apollo Crews aboard. And I don't know. There's something about that matchup, and it's interesting because we look at Apollo Crews as being a good guy, and I'm not saying that he would be a villain associating himself with MVP, but there's something. I think there's something there that can be explored, at least, anyways.
It'd be fun to give him a mouthpiece of some kind. Not that Apollo hasn't been good on the microphone lately, but it'd be fun to give him someone to egg him on, to motivate him a little bit. Maybe Lana.
Oh no.
I didn't want to say it.
I'm going to go Dave Mason on you.
Jimmy, I think I'm going to let you talk about this one because I believe this is the one that you were looking forward to the most, or one of the matches, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus.
I am looking forward to this one. I just don't like the circumstances surrounding this match. I don't like the subject matter that's being presented here and why this match. Don't get me wrong. These are two guys that can go, and I'm happy for Jeff, and I'm happy that he's dealing with his personal issues and his personal demons. I just don't think that needs to be the main crux or the main story being brought forward here. I think with a person like Sheamus can get under somebody's skin without having to resort to those subjects. Let's just put it that way.
Those demons have been around for like 20 years, man. Jeez. When I don't know if these guys have ever wrestled before. It just seems like a really interesting, odd, like, wait a second, matchup. So, and again, conflicting styles. One guy's smash mouth in your face, and Jeff has that, kind of a high flyer, risk taker. This is one of those matches that, people aren't really paying a lot of attention to it, but this can be incredible if it's done right.
Here's a question. Thoughts on Raw and SmackDown creative teams coming together?
This is, for me, a wait and see thing because, it is difficult. You have, we used to look back at the day during the original brand extension, and, there was that conflict between the two shows, Raw versus SmackDown. Raw viewed themselves as the A show, and they kept referring to SmackDown as the B show. So SmackDown had a chip on its shoulder saying, hey, we'll show you guys, which is one of the reasons why I still wear blue to this day, because I'm a SmackDown guy. But I think it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yes, it's good because now everybody could sort of be on the same page, but at the same time, there was less guys dedicated to helping one side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I was just going to say, right now it's an odd situation because all the shows are emanating from the same place. So it sort of makes sense to have all the creative under one roof. If all the shows are under one roof, then you get a more cohesive thing. The separate shows in this particular time with separate creative staffs, especially if you're now having crossover from the shows, it makes sense to have a more cohesive presentation. I loved when back in the original brand split where the creative on SmackDown had a whole different idea of we have the main six, we got to make some new stars, we got to have some up and comers, we got to create some new interest in some new wrestlers, and that seemed to be what was happening on Raw. And then some stuff we haven't been enjoying was happening on SmackDown. Now that it's all going to be under one roof, I'm a little worried that some of the stuff we weren't enjoying on SmackDown is going to start showing up on Raw, making the whole thing unpalatable. But it could go the other way, where I'm starting to enjoy everything on both shows. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, the writing team, it's a really an interesting situation there. Some of these guys, they'll brainstorming sessions and come up with these really funny ideas, and they're all sitting around the table and putting each other's ideas over and say, oh, that's great, it's going to be great. And then they present it to Vince, and Vince says, no, this is stupid, and we're doing this, rewrite it, go. And a lot of times when it's TV, you can see the writers are frustrated because sometimes back when it was back in Connecticut, they spent all week just writing out the storyline and the verbiage for it and how it went out. And then Vince just crapped on it and said, do this instead. It doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of defeated writers back there. So everyone craps on the writing team sometimes, but sometimes it's not the writing team. They can write a fantastic show, or sometimes Vince is also saving the audience from some bad ideas too, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's almost a moot point to have them together because they don't have the ultimate say anyway, either anybody there.
I will say this though, the one thing that, well, I was there at least, that I enjoyed about the creative team and the writing team is that they were open to suggestions from everybody. I mean, I could stop whether it was Bryan or Heyman or somebody, whoever it was, when Heyman was in charge of SmackDown, and just like stop and say, "Hey, Paul, you got a second? Can I throw this idea by you?" And very very open to everything, and they are appreciative of ideas. So it's not like they're closed minded. It's just like everybody else. They have a vision that they want to present.
Yeah.
Nug, you ready for this question? This one's for you specifically.
Oh my God, okay.
It's hard hitting. What did you think of the PS5? Will you get one? This question's being asked because you're a big gamer.
I like games. I do like games. The PS5 looks very interesting, but as I am with a lot of stuff, I don't jump on board right away. I kind of wait and see if there's problems with it. A lot of times they're like, here's a brand new thing, and everybody rushes out to get it. And then like in a week, they're like, we're putting out a patch soon to fix all the problems. I'm not interested in that. I'll wait until everything's fixed. But they did announce some really interesting games for it. The new... whatever the new WWE games will be on it, I'm sure. Also, there's a new, I don't know if you guys know Ratchet and Clank, but Ratchet and Clank has a new game, and they've got a playable female lead character, which is really cool. And the new Spider-Man game will have Miles Morales as the Spider-Man main protagonist, which is really cool. The graphics look amazing. The machine looks insane. Usually it's like this box like this, and this time it's like a weird tower. It looks like the Eye of Sauron a little bit from Lord of the Rings.
Looks like a McLaren.
It's bananas. So it's this top of the line thing that's going to be something everybody wants for Christmas, and then you won't be able to get it, and there'll be problems with it initially. So
I heard it can read your mind.
I heard that if you hook it right up to your brain, you can see the future.
But you know what? We need to get Nug and Aftermath alumni Kyle Edwards together on this sort of thing.
Yeah, let's go.
Why don't we shoot like segments of you guys playing video games? Like I feel like a lot of the WWE fans would love that, because if you guys are all gamers, like I feel like that'd be such a cool interactive way.
I just want live stream Anthony and I to play WrestleFest. That's all it is.
I'm going to pitch this idea, okay? So I'm going to pitch this idea.
Was the old one?
Yeah, with the 4 joysticks, and you could be the tag teams. And...
Oh, like at Tilt they had it, right?
Yeah, when we went to Tilt.
Nug, unless it's an Atari 2600 version, I can't do it.
Let's do it.
Nug, you cool if I pitch that idea?
100%. Let's do it.
I would love to. Obviously, I'm not a good gamer, but like to just be a part of that, watch you guys play. Maybe I can... moderate the questions that are coming in. All of us be a part of it.
Is with those fancy WWE 2K games that come out, is we need to make each of us in the game and then have wrestling matches against each other. I'm sure Anthony's already in the game, but we'd have to do creator wrestlers of me and Jimmy and Caroline, and then have these matches and show us playing us against each other.
Okay, I'm in. We're gonna make this happen. I'm reading comments in the YouTube. People are down. So literally, I'm gonna draft an email. We're pitching it. We're gonna make it happen. And here we go. We got more WWE Aftermath content coming your way.
Wow.
There you go. I will be super enhancement talent.
Perfect.
Oh, and do you see? There's somebody's asking me if SmackDown is looking for a writer. What would it take for me to put my name in the hat? Show me where the hat is.
Yes.
I think is what it would take. I would like to see the hat, please. Also, if they will accept writers and ideas over Zoom, on board. But I'm certainly doubtful that the American company will hire a Canadian guy. But if we'll do it over Zoom, I'm on board.
Amazing.
I got lots of ideas.
I got so many ideas. First of all, put the belt on me. Second.
Okay, amazing. Well, look, we just have a new idea for some content. Thanks, guys. This came from you. Thank you for your questions.
Awesome.
We're gonna put our heads together. We're gonna come up with something real cool for you. Because Nug, we're gonna put your gaming skills now to the test.
Oh, I got to work on my thumbs.
Start doing those exercises.
Can you guys see my thumb bicep? Hold on, watch. I'm gonna show you. Wait, watch my thumb. Oh, you can't see it, damn it.
Was it gonna pop out or something? I don't want to watch that.
No, it's muscle. I have thumb muscles.
No, I don't like that.
You see the scar?
There. Hold on. You can see it this way. It's actually, hold on. Never mind. I can't show you, but I have a bicep in my thumb.
There's the scar. There, see it?
Wow, poor Jimmy.
Wow.
No, that was the one where
That
it
was-
ended up back here. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I didn't tell you how that happened. It happened. Oh, you like story? Real quick story.
We're
Happened
here for
here at Maple Leaf Gardens in a match with the Road Warriors versus somebody. Anyways, long story short, I'm driving the
Versus
Road
somebody.
Warriors. I'm driving the Road Warriors back to the airport. I've got my thumb in a bucket of ice, driving them back. And of course, we stop at the Hojo's by the airport to have something to eat afterwards. And I'm thinking, I got to get to the hospital, get this thing checked out. And then Elio Zarlenga says, let's go see a movie. So, all right. So I ate a bucket of popcorn. I got my arm like this and I'm eating my popcorn. And then after that, I looked at my thumb and it looked like this big. And I figured, maybe it's time to go. So
Was it called Pat and Mario's back in the day?
no, this was before Pat and Mario's. It was
God.
Hojo's. It was open 24 hours. You know?
Roll right
Wow.
across the street.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it is.
Yes. It became a Delta later or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Anything else you want to add before we head off until next week?
I got the trivia for Tuesday.
Oh, good. All right.
One of
Is
these
there a
days,
theme? Is there a theme?
No, I have the responsibility. I don't have the questions yet.
Ah,
I can't wait to win one, hopefully in the near future. And you guys wait till you see these questions I come up with.
I can't wait because I figure they're going to be all about wrestlers' pets.
Yeah, they sure will be.
oh my goodness! I'm just hoping to win one of these one day so I could do referee trivia for.
Oh, I'm on board.
Guys-
More Danny Davis.
Viz on the YouTube chat said, "Looking great, everyone. Great show. See you again next week." What's up, Viz? We love Viz.
Nice, man.
Yeah, and stay tuned for tonight's Ref the Chef. It looks like what do I'm looking at? Sauerkraut and pork chops. I think. Maybe.
Nice.
Oh, it sounds so good. Everyone, stay healthy, stay well, be safe. Keep an eye out on all the content that's going out on Sportsnet YouTube. There's lots going out that we record on Tuesday. And then, of course, every single Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time, we're here with you. We're having fun. We're answering questions, comments. And I'll keep you guys posted now, I guess. We're going to pitch this idea. This is great. I keep hitting my couch and my poor dog's asleep. And every time I'm so excited, I'm hitting my couch and Cash is like jumping up. I'm just so excited. So, yeah. Okay, guys, everyone stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Tweet at us, especially
Enjoy
Jimmy
Backlash.
Yes,
I'm
enjoy
going fishing
Backlash.
You going fishing?
right now. My daughter's coming. We're gonna go fishing.
I need to know where. I need to know. You going to Credit River? No.
She's picking the spot.
Oh, okay.
That's so nice. Tell Bianca we say hello.
Yes, hello.
Oh,
yes.
I will.
Did you tell her I said hi yet?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll tell her again today.
Perfect.
There
I love her. She's so sweet.
She's
All right,
jacked
guys.
right now.
Everyone, we'll see you next week. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say. Thanks for hanging out with us. See ya.
Bye, guys.